You've had Alzheimer's disease now that you know of, 6 years.
Yeah.
Is it easier to live with now?
So...
Are you more used to it now?
You are?
Yeah.
You are. I'm used to it and that. But sometimes you get... Oh, that one's gone. And I don't know where it's going to go to.
Yeah.
But I suppose... I don't really know how it's happening.
Well, we had the memory service round recently, didn't we?
Yeah.
And they were talking to him and gave him that little test. He's down to 13 now.
That was the MMSE test,
Yeah.
which isn't very sensitive, but it's a test that's used all over the place.
Yeah.
It's a horrible test, isn't it?
Well, I got to the feeling there that, that's it, I'm nearly on the way.
And I assured him that the man did not say that.
No, but that's the feeling he got. That's an important difference, huh?
Yeah.
That's the trouble with that test, Derek. There are other tests, but they're not used so much.
No, because it sort of tells you that you're going to kick the bucket quite soon.
And you still enjoy life?
Nothing else. You got to use it, haven't you?
You do enjoy life, don't you?
Yeah. You can't just sit there and wallow. When you go. If you don't, don't.
But there must have been times in the beginning when, especially when the diagnosis was made, when you weren't comfortable with things and you didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
You had to figure out somehow how to be a good carer. How did that happen?
Well, for starters, I've always been lucky with this one because my daughter's a carer. She works in a care home, dementia care home. So that was such a source of information for me. And there have been times when we've both lost it, haven't we? When there's been arguments, and my daughter used to say to me, "Why are you arguing?" You know, and it's. I don't know. I think it comes from love. I think if you didn't love that person, you couldn't do it. Derek is the love of my life. Always has been, always will be. And we just sort of got on with it, really. You know, there's been times when I've just thrown my hands in the air and thought, I can't do this anymore. But you can. And I do.
What advice would you have for new couples facing what you did 6 years ago?
I think if there wasn't so much love, I think I may have possibly walked away. This is still Derek. He has Alzheimer's. And somebody once said, why don't you call Alzheimer's something else? Because when Derek does something that I don't like, it wasn't Derek done it, it was Fred. Alzheimer's done it. Silly little things like that. I think also I've tried for him to keep his independence as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yes, I do most things now, but like I will show him the right way to put his jumper on, but he needs to put his jumper on because I think he needs to keep some independence. And to be honest with you, for anybody that does look at this video, believe me, I am not the most patient person in the world.
No, you are, my dear.
I am now.
She's paying you to say that, Derek.
But I've learnt along the way.
And we're always together, aren't we?
Yeah, always together. Always will be, aren't we? Yeah. And that's the way it is, isn't it?
That's the way it is.
We just accept what we've got.
That's right.
What is it that you think is the most difficult and complex for you to manage?
A lack of support from primary care. Also getting the different organisations that you need all together at the same time in a decent time frame. We just cannot get the people we need, the psychiatrists, the doctors and everybody else together quickly.
So what happens when someone goes into crisis?
Well, that happened to us. Lady, physically, we thought perhaps she was quite poorly because her behaviour was becoming more difficult. So we had her GP see her. They did some blood tests, couldn't find anything. The psychiatrist did come out and have a look at her medication. He then unfortunately went on holiday, and the week leading up to when she had to be admitted, her behaviour became very, very difficult. I asked for help all week, came to Friday, still no help. Over the weekend, my staff found it very, very difficult. They spoke to the crisis team, who got an AMP involved, who said that he couldn't come out and deal with stuff like that over the weekend. So we ended up having to put one-to-one in with her all weekend. She had to be in a separate lounge, so it meant all my other clients were confined to the other lounge. Lucky the weather was good because we were able to use the garden too for space for them to be able to walk around in. But she was there in our lounge 24/7. We had to have extra staff on overnight to keep her there. And then on the Monday, we finally got some help, and they took her off to the hospital on the mainland Monday afternoon, which was absolutely awful for her. Secure transport turned up, and she was taken then by herself to the hospital on the mainland.
We had a lady, she had smashed windows, tried to get out of another window. Her bedroom was upstairs, she refused to go upstairs, there was no way we could isolate her into that area. This was started on the Friday, happened where we literally had to put in one-to-one all over the weekend because she was not safe, and at times we had 2-to-1 because she was physically hitting out at staff. We tried to get the memory service involved, but of course it's at a weekend, so the support you get is very minimal. You speak to 111, it's like, well, there's nothing really we can do. She's not eating, she's not drinking. It came then to the Monday, she'd been up for 48 hours in a communal area, which we had to really block off with chairs and settees. We then eventually had memory service out, again agreed she needed to go to hospital, and the response was, because obviously our baby was continuing to escalate, if you had any concerns because there wasn't an AMP available at this time, then to ring 111. Contacted 111, who basically said there's nothing they could do, and actually if it continues like this, ring the police. So again, behaviour started to escalate further, where she was physically harming others, and the police's response is, you're a care home, it's nothing to do with us, you should be able to manage her risk. After various phone calls, eventually the AMP did come out, probably 7:30 in the evening, completed all the documentation. Then it was a case of, at this moment in time, there's no bed. She come back, I think this was by 11:30 at night, to say, okay, there is a bed, we're going to send an ambulance. Ambulance arrived, again, she wasn't going to go willingly. So in the end, she actually went with a number of staff in their vehicle, followed by the AMP, because they were concerned, just to get her into a hospital setting. And then actually was transferred to the mainland because they couldn't find a bed for her.
In 2011, my partner was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's disease. After diagnosis, I decided to enrol on 2 carer courses so that I could understand the disease and help him as much as possible. We decided to do as much as we could in regard to our bucket list, but this was becoming more and more difficult as the illness progressed. We had to stop going on holiday when my partner went wandering around the hotel at 3 a.m, looking for me and knocking on other people's doors. In 2017, my partner's illness declined rapidly. My partner wanted to be with me all the time, and I couldn't even go to the toilet without being followed. We had no practical help from social services. The finance team told us that we were self-funding, but a year later we learnt that they'd made a mistake. We weren't. No one said sorry. In fact, they were downright rude, and for over a year I had no respite. The psychiatrist had no bedside manner. He was rude and upset us both on his last visit, when he said my partner could no longer be driving. He was instantly backing out of the door, telling us he would no longer be seeing us. I felt so alone, isolated, and was watching my partner deteriorate daily, and now the medical people were deserting us. The Admiral nurse gave me a bit of comfort and said, there. They gave me no practical help or solutions. I do get support from the Alzheimer's Cafe and Carers Isle of Wight. I tried to get a blue badge but got turned down twice, despite my partner, who would just cross the road without looking and wasn't even allowed to drive. We did get it in the end, but only because Carers Isle of Wight appealed for us. Please tell me, at what point does it become okay to ask questions in front of a person with dementia that leads them to feeling like they are no longer of any use? I just don't get it. It's not okay and it's not professional. My partner can no longer talk. He grunts, can't read, watch TV or get a drink. In fact, my partner is totally dependent on me. He gets up most nights and wants to go out. Some nights I don't get any sleep. He's just not safe to be left on his own. He fiddles with things and breaks things. Yesterday, I found myself thinking that I just wanted to kill him. I never ever thought that such a dreadful thought would ever cross my mind. This is my husband. This is the man that I love. My partner recently hit a care home worker and he has threatened me. This is fairly new behaviour for him. I'm so tired. I need medical investigation, but sorting that out feels like it's just too much. I'm really not sure I have the energy. Who of you watching this video today have booked a holiday or planning a holiday? Have you ever tried to pre-book overnight respite? A social worker once made me feel like this was a crime. Some carers I know have had to cancel their holiday at the last minute as the overnight respite can't be found. How would you feel? Is it wrong? Is it wrong to want a holiday? Shouldn't I be able to guarantee a holiday? I feel broken, bone tired, and I just wonder if it's all worth it. I really don't think I can do much more. Everything seems such a battle, such an effort, and I'm so tired. I feel like we were both given that diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. With no cure, no hope, and no life, surely that's not how it should be.